Yo, what's crack, boys? Welcome back to NBA this week. In my short time in covering the NBA, for YouTube video wise, this has got to be one of the most entertaining weeks we've had this whole season, and it's only the start of the season, so it's only going to get better. We've got a lot to cover. Obviously, last night a bunch of stuff happened, especially that Lakers Bucks game. Wow. Well, obviously we'll get into that later, but wow, the Lakers, the Lakers look to be back. They're like 4 games away from the 4th seed. Obviously, they're still looking for trades to make. The DeRozan trade and Vucevic. Vucevic is horrible, man. Like, if you'd be a center in the NBA, like you need to know how to defend to be a center. That's like bare minimum. Like, yeah, if you can't shoot, whatever, but you need to be able to play defense. And Vucevic is just a terrible defender. I don't know exactly how that would work out, to be honest. And for the Bulls, that makes no sense, to be honest. I don't actually see that happening now that I actually think about it. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about. Also, the Lakers-Pacers game where it was a buzzer beater by the way. I just made a video on that a couple days ago. Go check that out. That was an absolute crazy game. Obviously, Lakers just bet the Bucks, so they blew the big lead. Now they've just beaten the Bucks. Like I said in that video, that's exactly what they needed, because I think this team has actually just woken up. But anyway, I've already made a video now. We won't talk about that further. Earlier in the week, Joel Embiid, who's obviously my favorite team, if you didn't know, made his return against the Hawks and completely saved us. That was a very close game. A lot of good games this week. Very close game. Shake Milton as well has been absolutely doing his thing. I don't know how old Shake Milton is. I think he's like near Embiid's age, but yeah, he's just been completely doing for us, absolutely stepping up his game. Literally all-star. Okay, if we're being real, MVP numbers, but it's a small sample size, so it's not. Do you know what I mean? He's stepping up when Max and Harden are just out. Harden's supposed to be returning back in like, what, 2 days, 3 days? I cannot wait for that, man. Oh my God. It feels like forever since Harden's played, and now he's going to be back. Obviously it's going to take him a while to, step into things, but this game, Joel Embiid completely saved us by, the scoring and his defense. Obviously, he had the clutch buckets, in the scoring time, but it really came down to the end where, obviously, in the 2021 playoffs, when we lost at home to the Hawks, one of the last plays was a Trae Young lob to John Collins, and he dunked pretty much, not on Embiid, but it was like close enough, like, to the point where you're watching it and you're like, oh my God, man, that is not, like, that's just icing on the cake for them. Boom, that exact play happens. I think it's like a 1 point game or something for the win. Boom, Embiid, literally, he baits it. When I was watching, I was like, oh my God, he's actually baiting him in real time. Embiid just baits him. The kind of like, you've done it in basketball, he's baiting him. He knows it's about to happen. He's getting ready to run back. Boom, as soon as Trae Young even moves his arm to throw the lob, Embiid's right there, deflects it. Boom, game over. Clutch play, clutch MVP play right from him. Obviously, we did just lose to the Grizzlies last night, so I think an MVP for Embiid in this season. No way. This season, no way. I mean, it's still early. Anything can happen, but I don't think so. I think that awards Tatum's or Giannis's, but I think he can definitely win one in the future. But he's just such an impactful basketball player. If you want to win games, obviously championship is different. Yeah, we've never made it to the conference finals, but for these type of moments, you need him on your team. Kevin Durant has been on an absolute tear. He just had that 45-point game earlier this week. And, his past, 3 games, he's averaging like 37 points on crazy efficiency. Possibly the best player in the world right now. I would give it to Giannis, but KD, it's with these all-time great players, age means fuck all to them. Like, means fuck all to them. Like, he's having these high-scoring games on like 79% from the field. Especially that one against the Magic. That's like... I'm in awe of KD, bro. It's crazy how good this guy is. This whole, this season, KD's probably got 2-3 years left of, actual, like, best player in the world. We'll say that, 1 to 3 seasons left. How is the championship window going to capitalize? Because Nets are looking good. They are getting some good wins. Kyrie's back. Ben Simmons is, he's playing okay. As a whole unit, they're playing okay. Championship, though, we're not sure, but obviously these teams get better and better with time. Obviously, look at the Celtics last season, 17 and 19, went to the finals, and now they're like probably the best team in the NBA. So who knows? A lot can definitely happen, but right now, hopefully, I do want to see KD win a ring outside of Golden State, because if he retires and he's only got those 2 rings, you know what I mean, you already know what the narrative is going to be. I think it is time for the Minnesota Timberwolves to hit the panic button. Rudy Gobert, like, do you know what I mean? Defense-wise, yeah, shit NBA player, I don't care. Obviously, that guy's going to fucking destroy me in a 1v1. Yes, bro, I know. But this guy's getting paid a supermax to play NBA basketball. Shit center. Kat is one of the softest centers in this league. That guy is a feminine man. Bro, what's wrong with me? You know, they just have 2 soft centers. That just doesn't work. You know, Rudy Gobert only had like 1 rebound when Kat was out. But obviously, yeah, Kat did have that injury. It's like a calf strain. He's out for a while. Like, I just call him a fucking soft bitch. But he's a very good NBA player. Like, this guy's like, not the best big shooting big man of all time. But he's probably going to be there when he's retired. Most definitely, probably. Yeah, he's injured. So now, like, they're just in a weird state where they've just given up 5 picks for a shit center, when really they should be building around Anthony Edwards, who's like the next Michael, not the next Michael Jordan, but you know what I mean, a Hall of Fame type player. They just lost the Wizards. They gave up 142 points to Porzingis. Obviously, Porzingis didn't hit 142 points. He had 42 points, which is a career high for him. And, you know, when this whole offseason move was around it was around defense, and you're doing this, like, what is going on? Like, what? The offense is horrible as well. Like, Kat and Rudy Gobert do not know how to work together. Yes, obviously, they're very new teammates. It's very raw right now. Still, though, this was a win-now situation. Even Rudy Gobert said, I need to help bring this team a championship this season. So, yeah, I would definitely be hitting panic button. Anthony Edwards will not. At this moment in time, which is an important word, at this moment in time, there's no way this man... He will probably sign an extension to get his money up. Yeah, request a trade 2 years, which that'd be tough as an NBA. Obviously, you're getting the money, so like, who cares? And you're getting paid to be in the NBA, but definitely take advantage of your career. But Minnesota should definitely start panicking. One man who's been completely dominating the league right now, a quick little mention from him, is Bol. I keep mentioning him almost. It feels like I'm mentioning him every video now. I just like to see this guy succeed. Like, this pull-up game, this guy's just... grabs a rebound, his 7'2" ass is just like eerily just running down the court. Boom, he pulls over his long ass arms and just swishes it in the post, in the layup, driving in for the dunk or the layup, playing good defense. Like, Orlando's got a good squad for the future, bro. Trust me. Not like, I mean, it's hard to say dynasty for a team that's not even made the playoffs, but I mean, their ceiling is very high right now, very high. OG Anunoby is up there in the Defensive Player of the Year contest with, you know, the likes of Giannis, Mikal Bridges, Marcus Smart, and Brook Lopez, but he's definitely up there. He's guarding like the best players on the team, and he's putting up some crazy stat lines. If you just take a look at these stats here, he's literally locking up, like, you know, Luka, KD, like, he's locking up all these great players, playing good defense. He's hitting, it's not like he just plays defense. This man is a great free-level scorer. And can, like he's a huge... Obviously, the Raptors aren't winning shit this season, so definitely a big trade asset. If someone, you know, a big trade target for, you know, contending teams, he would fit so well. Like, he's like a Mikal Bridges type player. He needs to get the credit he deserves. He is playing some Defensive Player of the Year sort of stuff right now. A huge game, you know, a Western Conference Finals rematch that just happened. Warriors versus the Mavericks. Mavericks get the win with this. Quite a messy win, but it was also a very good win from Luka himself, to be honest, because he's somewhat been carrying his team. And we're getting later on to the Mavericks' struggles, really, because they've been struggling against, you know, some teams. But right now, what a good game this was in the clutch. Luka, you know, steals the ball and then gets the 2. Like, Luka was just clutch everywhere. You know, defense, playmaking, scoring. It just ultimately led to the win. Clay as well, who, you know, is, you know, he's been catching, you know, he's been coming back, you know, getting some good high-scoring games. Pretty sure he just had like 26 last night. He only had 5 points tonight, which is kind of worrying, to be honest. But, you know, obviously it's just one random game in November. So, yeah, I guess nothing to pay too much attention to. It is still early. But definitely a big factor in why they lost. Yeah, when Golden State could have had, you know, they easily could have won this game. It was just such a messy execution. You know, Jordan Poole passed up in an open free where the defender is closing out on him, but this is Jordan Poole. This guy hits like step backs from like 40 feet in the finals, so like he can make that shot, pass it to Wiggins. Wiggins just, just kind of does whatever, passes it to Clay, and when Clay goes for the shot, it just loses grip, boom, turnover. A bad win for the Warriors, but, as a team like this, they're like 12-11 now, you do need loss like this, as we saw for the Lakers. You do need to be hit in the fucking face. So, on to the Lakers. After having a 2-8 start, this team is now 4 games away from the 4th seed in the West. Wow, what a turnaround. I kind of saw this coming. I kind of saw this coming. It can't get worse than that when you have 3 Hall of Fame players on the team. Obviously, I don't think they'll win a championship this season, but I think they can definitely make the playoffs. They're, on such a big run again. They bet the Blazers, who, obviously, no Dame. But that whole unit as a team is a very good team. Impressive win. Obviously, the big three of LeBron, AD, and Westbrook are playing amazing recently. And this game against the Bucks, wow. Undoubtedly, duel of the year just happened last night. Lakers versus Bucks. A rivalry which was quite a big rivalry a few years ago when, Lakers first got AD. It was a big rivalry. Now it's like somewhat revived almost. 44 from AD, 40 from Giannis. Like, these are 2 all-time great players, still in their prime, just balling out. The two best power forwards of this generation, probably, or, this decade. Do you know what I mean? Like, this sort of somewhat era. Definitely those 2. Just battling out. Lakers get a big win. Chris Middleton's back as well. Completely changing the game. I think Bucks will definitely be a lot better with Chris Middleton on their team. But the Lakers are 7-2 in their last 9 games, which is crazy. Such a huge turnaround for them. I think it's definitely, obviously, the team. I think this team's definitely gelling together a bit more. Credit to the coach, David Harm. I think that's his name. That guy's, that's a good hire, I'd say. Obviously, LeBron's back. Westbrook's role off the bench is just crazy now. Do you know what I mean? The Lakers are playing good. They are probably going to have little stints of it being a bit bad, but right now, obviously, it does happen in the NBA a lot. A team's on a big win streak, like, oh, they're going to be this, they're going to be that, and they just disappoint. Could definitely be like this with them, but right now, they're playing very good. And they are 3 games away from the 4th seed in the West. Who would have thought this at this point in the season? Still early, but whoa. I honestly thought the Lakers were going to be like the worst team in the league, to be honest, when it was happening, but it's very in the moment stuff. Like, right now, it's like, okay, they're going to win every game. Like, nah. We'll see what they do. I'm looking forward to see what they do. I hope it's... When the Knicks and Lakers are fun, the league is fun. Obviously, Giannis, another great game from him. Ever since that whole ladder accident where people were criticizing him, he's just been popping off. Like, these stats do not lie. Giannis is definitely coming for that 3rd MVP. Importantly, that 2nd championship. Can he beat Tatum for the MVP? We will find out. But Giannis's prime, is up there. Definitely up there with LeBron's right now. This is like the similarity, obviously they're different players, but it's good to see another all-time great player playing this well. The Celtics and the Heat have played quite a lot recently this week. I think it's twice. Obviously, the first game, Tatum had a 49-piece. Crazy. His stats that he's racking up this season for his MVP season, which, to be honest, I feel like he's definitely the favourite. I just made a video. By the time you're seeing this, it'll be up. Go check it out on Jason Tatum. I did say some mad stats, but he's like the first player in NBA history before he turned 25 with multiple 45-point, 10-plus rebounds in 8+ free games. And he's hit 900 threes before turning 25. That's crazy from him. That's an MVP star right there. That is definitely an MVP star right there. Credit to Jason Tatum. Beating the bust allegations from a few years ago, but his rise to superstardom is now. It is now. But in this game, Tatum only had 14. It was Jaylen Brown who, did lead the Celtics in the 37 points. Unluckily for them not to get a win. But this was one of the best games of the year, I would definitely say. Everyone in the Heat starting 5. I think it was out of one player, but Jimmy, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, and Bam all had 20 points at least. Obviously, their bench scoring wasn't great, so they did have to step up. But wow, what a game this was, especially down in the 4th quarter. Jaylen Brown and Jimmy Butler were going straight at it. Jimmy Butler proving again he's still a top 15 player and an extremely important player you need on a championship team. Him and Jaylen Brown, obviously Jaylen Brown hit that crazy deep that deep free to tie the game. That's just a crazy shot, man. To even take it, yeah, he caught a bad shot, but players need to be confident in themselves like that. Obviously, Jimmy was just not giving up, step back dagger, whatnot. It looked like that play was over. He runs around the baseline, he's like, oh, what are you doing? Shoots it, boom, it goes in. It's like, oh my God, man, that's Jimmy Butler for you. But a good win for the Heat, who come on, you know what I mean? They were one game away from making the finals. They can definitely make a run this year. They've got that Heat culture. They have everything. They're like a perfect team to make it to the finals. Maybe not win it, but people are counting out the Heat. And I'm like, nah, you can't count out Miami, especially with all the players they've got, the experience. Almost made the finals twice, and obviously you got power and that Heat culture. You have to not count out Miami, and you know what I mean. This is just them proving themselves in TD Garden as well. It's not like we're just in Miami. This team came to Boston and just dominated and got a clutch win. I would like to apologize to the Phoenix Suns. I counted them out. A lot of people counted them out. Shit, this could be a Suns versus Celtics finals this season. I could definitely see that happening. Especially Devin Booker, 51 points in 3 quarters, 20 for 25 shooting. Can we just think about that for like 1 second? This guy in 3 quarters scored 50 points and missed 5 shots. And I hate when coaches sit out players. Kobe could have had 81 before he even scored 81. Devin Booker could have broken his 70-point game. He would have at least scored 60. I think he would have scored at least 65. But I don't get. Obviously, yeah, the game's over. But you don't want to risk injury over some not silly individual stat, but remember Derrick Rose tore his ACL or wherever it was because he was in garbage minutes. So yeah, I do see it, but that's not gonna happen. It's very unlikely it happens. Obviously in that moment, yes, but Devin Booker made All-NBA first team last season. Should have been an MVP. He was an MVP conversation. He definitely was. Probably, not a candidate, I guess. But definitely is still up there in the MVP. Obviously, Chris Paul. I'm sorry, Chris Paul. I was not familiar with your game. This guy apparently was with Kim K. Ye said it. After, that's not related to this, but yeah, Chris Paul's a dirty dog. I respect it. Chris Paul's a ring in my book. But Devin Booker and the Suns. Hey, redemption season. We all thought it was done last season after the Mavericks, who were about to get on, but in the end, I think the Suns are better than the Mavericks right now. Luka's been dominating the NBA. Obviously, he's on somewhat of an MVP campaign. The record, the MVP talk's somewhat fallen off because of, the team record, which for a player of his, greatness that we hold the standard to, LeBron did it with the Cavs, the 66 wins team. All these great players managed to get, the big wins. And, Luka's not really finding that right now when his supporting cast is good. His supporting cast is good. Luka should be able to, be at the top of the West with that team. Obviously, it could be Jason Kidd. I don't really look into coaches. It could just be Jason Kidd, but they are struggling right now. Look at these teams they've lost to without, their best players. That's very worrying. When you have an all-time great player who, let's just keep it 100, Luka has GOAT potential on him. GOAT potential, 1,000%. Bare minimum, top 15. Obviously, he's still young. Everyone's career is a lot different, but you need to be worried with this. You need to be looking at the team, at the coach. Christian Wood is now starting to be in some clutch minutes. I think he needs to be starting. Come on, man. That's probably Luka's best teammate he's ever had. Christian Wood is very underrated, but it's very worrying. Hopefully they can, actually start beating teams they need to. Now, just to leave off for this note, this whole Luka versus Harden debate, people are people are getting offended by it, but no, it's a good thing. Prime James Harden, obviously, yeah, I'm a Sixers fan. I'd be saying this regardless. There's nothing wrong with, being similar to James Harden. Obviously, when you look at their game, yeah, it's eerily similar. It's like he studied him, bro. He's just a white James Harden, but obviously, the whole story of Harden's career is, holding the ball too much. Even Kobe said it himself. That style does not win championships, which exactly why you don't want a player who's just ball hogging the ball all the time and, always running through the offense. The dribble moves that look a bit silly, at the point he's just ball hogging and, he makes a shot. Obviously, he's that caliber player, he'll make it. But yeah, I think it's down to Luka to switch up his play style for the Mavericks to win a championship, but will he or will he not? We'll find out.